Yo, what is going on, everybody? Thanks for coming back to the channel. We have something a little different today. We're gonna do an in the bag with maybe some like goals or talking points afterwards. I wasn't able to get any course videos done. It rained all day Sunday, and we didn't get anything done Saturday. So with this week, we kind of just race the sunset every day, so we aren't able to film normally after work unless we do like a quick 9-hole round. Anyway, we're gonna do it in the bag and get some content out there for you, show you what I'm throwing for right now. As an amateur player, I tend to change my bag very constantly, so the general premise of what's in my bag right now will generally stay the same. I might swap out for some different plastics or maybe take a little bit less of a mold if I'm feeling like there's a little bit of an overlap, but generally what's in here is what's going to stay in here for a little while. I like the way my bag is right now. There's only a couple things that I'm trying to change up, so without further ado, let's get into the in the bag. So first and foremost, I'll go over putters. My main putting putter are the Lunas. As you can see from the bag, I'm kind of a Macbeth fanboy, so of course I'm throwing Lunas. With the Luna, it doesn't have a bead. It's a beadless putter, and it's got this really soft jawbreaker rubber plastic, so it feels great in the hand. It's a little bit of a smaller diameter because I don't have massive hands, so I can get a good grip on this putter when I release it. It's kind of like an AVR, just with really nice feeling plastic, and it feels really good in the hand, so that's kind of the reason I putt with it. I carry two, generally one for a little bit longer, one for a little bit shorter, and to try to beat them in a little bit less so they don't flip. Then I have another base plastic Luna that I use for just straight to turnover shots. I can't throw this thing full power because it turn into a roller, but if I can throw it out there straight, it's got a really nice glide and it'll just kind of drop out of it. So short to understable shots, I'm using this putter. And then I have a Crystal Luna, which actually doesn't feel great in the hand, so this one might be replaced by the BUZZZ Luna when I get one. I don't know, it's a little bit more overstable, and it's got some really cool glide features to it, so it's a really cool disc to have. It might go in and out of the bag the more I get comfortable throwing it, but I'm not as comfortable throwing this as I am the other putters, so that one's a little weird. And then for the overstable putters, so generally they go here, but currently I am trying to test out the Pig in the Zone. They're pretty similar discs for flight-wise. Feel-wise, they're completely different. The Zone's a little bit flatter, and it's a little bit more shallow too, so the Zone feels a lot better to forehand, but the beefiness of the Pig is a lot more fun for backhands. I don't think the Pig goes as far, but I haven't had a lot of testing to kind of decide one way or the other. So right now, I am trying both of them. They're my very overstable putter discs. No matter what you do when you throw it out, that thing's just gonna dive left, and that's always great to have in a very short disc. So you can put a lot of power into them and kind of just know that they're always gonna go left, so it's very dependable. Once I decide that, either a Zone or a Pig is gonna be in the bag. And then for almost every other putter shot, I throw a Champion RHYNO. I actually really like the feel of this disc, even though shout out to Turvin, he hates this disc. He says I'm terrible with it, but I actually really like this disc. The only reason I throw it is because Calvin Heiberg throws one, and if Calvin Heiberg throws it, then it's probably a good disc, but it feels really good. It's very straight. I can throw it power grip if I want to, and it'll get a little bit of a turn on it, but it's not gonna dump. And if I throw a fan grip, I can kind of depend on the slow fade of it, so it's a very nice straight disc. I'm throwing almost all of my approach shots with this disc, or maybe a soft Luna, but this disc is probably one of the discs you'll see me throw a lot. I really like the RHYNO. If this ever beats up too much, I'm probably just gonna replace it because I don't think I can take this one out of my bag. So now we'll go into mid-ranges. I currently carry 4 mid-ranges in varying flights. So the first one I have is this BUZZZ SS, Z-Line BUZZZ SS. It's my understable mid-range. Whenever I throw it out, and it's just gonna go right every single time. So very nice to have this in the bag for wooded courses and anything you need a little bit longer than a putter to go right. It's just very dependable, and I like the feel of it because I really like the feel of the buzz. So BUZZZ SS is a great disc to have. I don't think I'll replace it. I might try a Meteor or get a BUZZZ and ESP plastic, because I tend to like the ESP plastic more anyway, but hard to say. The next mid that I have is the ESP BUZZZ. I have two 4-claw BUZZs, which unfortunately are going to be impossible to replace because these discs are now like $100 to $200, so that's super unfortunate. These are the last two that I have, so hopefully I just don't lose them, knock on wood. But this ESP BUZZZ is a little bit more, it has a tendency to flip a little bit more, so if I throw it out straight, it's going to glide a little bit more to the right and kind of end up just straight. So great for straight shots, great for wood shots. I mean, BUZZs in general, whatever line you put them on is the line they're going to go on. This blue one tends to not turn as much. It tends to either just go straight or start hyzering a little bit faster. So these are obviously great discs. These are probably my favorite mid-ranges to throw. They're almost impossible to replace, so BUZZZ is a great disc. Then for my overstable mid-range, I throw MALTAs. I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of feel like a MALTA is kind of like a rock, which I like the rock, so can't really complain. Basically, whenever I need an overstable mid-range, I'm going for a MALTA instead of that blue BUZZZ. The BUZZs are a little bit too straight. MALTA, you can really put a rip into a MALTA, and that thing's just going to go straight and end left every single time. This Proto MALTA, which I've noticed has sparkles in the plastic. Some Discraft MALTAs have sparkles in the plastic, I've started to realize, and the sparkle ones are way more overstable, so this is typically just my absolute meat hook of a mid-range. It's very, very, very overstable, so typically I'm only throwing this out on giant hyzers, or I don't even throw it on flex. Typically I'm just throwing it on giant hyzers when I need something a little bit longer than a zone. This MALTA is a little bit straighter. This ESP MALTA, the first run, or whatever it's called, is a little bit straighter. Tony calls this the absolute cheater in my bag. He says it's just unfair to have one. It just goes, like, you can put a full power in it. I can probably get it to 330-ish maybe if I put a really good rip into it. And it's gonna go straight and it's gonna go left every time. It's not gonna dump in the wind. It's extremely dependable, so I definitely like the MALTA. It's a great feeling disc. Next, we have fairways. Yeah, we'll go fairways. We'll go fairways from 7 to 9. So first fairway I have is this Champion Eagle. So as you could tell with the RHYNO, I really like Calvin Heimberg, so he throws RHYNOs and Eagles, so I figured why not throw a RHYNO and Eagle. And I'm actually really glad I gave the Eagle a chance. So the Eagle I can get out 300, maybe even more. My distance varies way too often, but you can get the Eagle out straight and it's gonna have a nice turn to it, and then it's gonna come back every time. It's very dependable. It doesn't ever dump out on me, but no matter how hard I rip it, sometimes it'll turn a little bit harder, but it always comes back. Very straight disc, extremely dependable. All of my placement shots, or even just a long 300-foot shot on a rope that I know is just, I know exactly where it's gonna go. The Eagle is a phenomenal disc, and I'm very glad I have one in my bag. I probably will not get rid of the Eagle anytime soon. Next for dependable, so actually, all 4 of these are very similar. So I have 2 Firebirds and I have 2 Raptors. Obviously from different manufacturers, but they're essentially the same disc to me. I don't really see much of a difference. But really hard to not have a Champion Firebird in the bag. I mean, this is tomahawks, this is thumbers, this is like skip sidearms. It's impossible to replace Champion Firebird. I have not found a disc that comes close. The utility this disc provides is on another level. I don't think I could ever get rid of a Champion Firebird unless I was sponsored by somebody, which would be tough to replace. This is a very good utility disc, but I've seen people do it, so it's obviously possible. But yeah, so tomahawks, thumbers, skip shots, just any utility just shot that I need, I am throwing a Champion Firebird for. And then I have a Luster Champion Firebird, which just feels phenomenal in the hand. It's a little bit more opaque and it's a little bit flatter. So this is pretty much, I'm only throwing this forehand sidearm, whatever you want to call it. I'm throwing it out basically about 300 feet is where my sidearm tends to get to, and it's really only with this disc. So this is my sidearm disc for pretty much all sidearm shots. It just feels really good in the hand. But like I said, the reason that I'm really pointing that out is because the Raptors are extremely similar, but I like the Raptors for way more backhand shots. They feel way better in the hand for backhand shots, whereas the Firebird feels way better in my hand for forehand shots. So that's why I kind of keep both discs in the bag. One day I might have to decide one or the other or do something different, but for right now, I keep 2 of each. This Raptor is one that Tony gave me. Actually, both of these Raptors are ones that Tony gave me, but this ESP one is a little bit more beat. I don't even know if it's max weight, but it's a little bit more beat, so it tends to turn a little bit more if I can put a good rip into it. So I can get some long, long turning shots that fade pretty hard because it is a Raptor. So this is very good for control shots, so definitely a great disc to have in the bag. And then he recently gave me this Tour Series Ulibarri Raptor, Z Tour Series plastic, so it's very beefy, very overstable. I haven't had a lot of chance to throw this yet, but I feel like it's a good complement to a Raptor that's already beat and seasoned, that goes straight or turns, to have one that's beefy. So it covers that other slot in the bag, so I definitely like the way it feels, and it's so pretty, so definitely gonna keep that in the bag. And then we'll move on to drivers, which I guess it depends on how you look at it. I have 4 10-speed discs, so if you call them fairways or drivers, that's up to you. But first off, I have Vultures. I absolutely love the Vulture. I compliment it with Onyxes, but anyway, I absolutely love the Vulture. This is my go-to disc. I throw these so much. This bottom stamped one feels really, really good in the hand. The plastic feels really good, but they're extremely hard to get. So I already lost one and was lucky enough to replace it with this one. But if I lose this one, I'm gonna be hard pressed to replace it, which is unfortunate. But I have some other Vultures coming. I think the Glow Sparkle from Ledgestone, so I kind of want to see how they fly. But I absolutely love the feel of the Vulture. This one is a little bit more straight, so this one I can get out for a good rip, but you can't really throw it in windy days, and you kind of have to have like flat open fields, because if you throw it downhill or something, it's just gonna dump out. But if you can get a good straight rip on it, I mean, it just goes. It glides forever. It's very straight, so very dependable disc. I have an ESP plastic that has sparkles in the plastic, like I said earlier, so this one's a little bit more overstable. So it complements this one really well. But yeah, absolutely love the Vulture. This is probably one of the discs I'm reaching for more than anything else on distance shots with where my arm speed's at. So anything over 350, I'm going for a Vulture every single time. Love the Vulture. But recently, I started to throw the ANAX. And the ANAX is way glidier, so you can actually kind of get it farther. I thought these were going to be a lot more overstable, and it might just be the ones that I have, but this pink one is pretty flippy. So this one I was throwing a lot yesterday on some flip shots, and it was going pretty far, so it was really dependable that way. It always comes out of it, so it's got a glide of 6. So the Vulture and the ANAX kind of overlap. I haven't necessarily figured out which one to throw when, because they're both 10 speeds with kind of similar flight numbers. So the ANAX is a little bit glidier, so maybe that's when to use it a little bit more. I have this blue one that's brand new. It's a little bit more overstable, so I was trying to see which, like, if it was just the disc or not. But this blue one might not stay in the bag if I can find one that's a little bit flatter and more overstable, but it's really hard to say right now. But I do like the way the ANAX feels. Like I said, it's very glidey, so you can put a good rip on it, and this pink one is just gonna come up, and I can get it on a nice hyzer flip, and it's gonna start turning, and it'll just come back like it always does. This blue one I haven't thrown very much to talk about. It's just in the bag to complement this pink one if it's too windy or something. It's definitely newer, so it's definitely more overstable, but yeah. So I have both of those. Essentially, I might go down to 1 ANAX and just carry like 3 Vultures or something. It's hard to say right now, but I like the way both discs fly, so it's gonna be a tough call down the road. But last but not least, we have distance drivers. So I carry an eclectic mix of distance drivers. Maybe not eclectic, but so the first one I have are ZEUS's, which you probably can't see because that was horrible, but I have ZEUS's. So I like the way ZEUS's feel. It's a little bit shallower of a rim compared to like something super beefy like Destroyers or something, but the ZEUS's I feel are a little bit easier to rip on. They definitely go a lot straighter, and they have a lot more glide in my opinion. So this green one I have is a little bit flippier. So with tailwinds or anything, this thing just bombs. My arm speed's not at the right strength it needs to be at to throw these discs consistently, so unfortunately these don't get as much use as they need to, but eventually they will get more. So it's just something I have to face as an amateur player. My arm speed will build up, but for right now they all look pretty. This ZEUS, so we'll go over them now that I got that out of the way. The screen one's a little bit flippier, so it goes a little bit more right. I don't like. I tend to try to grab it when I need for a good bombing shot, but I don't have a lot of faith in it because of how much it turns right. So it might end up one day turning into a roller disc when I learn how to throw a roller. This black one is a very nice feel in the hand. So this one is a little bit straighter because it's max weight and it hasn't seen as much use. So this black one's probably going to stay in the bag because I really like the way it looks and I like the way it feels. So this will probably end up being one that I turn out. This blue one is, if you can hear that or see it, it's a pop top, so it's extremely overstable. I don't know if I like the way it feels or if I want to keep it in the bag. I tend to actually never throw this disc because I carry forces in the bag, so this one might find its way out of my bag. I might go down to 2 ZEUSs and maybe like 3 forces or vice versa depending on the course, but I feel like the ZEUS and force complement each other well enough that it's good to have both in the bag. The ZEUSs are a little bit more controlly and glidey, whereas forces are way more dumpy. But yeah, so I have 3 ZEUSs in the bag, varying degrees of stability, but the force is a disc that I absolutely love. I wish my arm speed was fast enough and strong enough to throw this disc. Unfortunately, it's not there yet. I can't get these out on good bombing shots, but one day I hope to get there because it just feels like so good in the hand. I've never had a disc feel this good in the hand. At first, I didn't think these felt good in the hand when I first tried a force, but I've come to actually really love the feel of the forces in the hand. So I have this very pretty purple gray gummy force. That's what I kind of call training wheels because it's a little bit, it's like 170 grams and it's very gummy. It's very flippy for a force, so I can get a good rip into this force. So it's kind of my training wheels for right now while my arm speed's still building up. I can throw them well enough, but I can't throw them how I want to throw them yet. So as my arm speed speeds up, this might not stay in the bag, but with how pretty it is, it's really hard to say that it won't be in the bag. So it's definitely in the bag for now. And then this is another disc Tony gave me, this Austin Turner force. This one I threw a little bit yesterday, and it actually is kind of like that purple one. It's got a lot more straight tendencies than it does dumpy tendencies. So between this one and that purple one of these will probably stay in the bag, and then as my arm speed gets better, I'll probably start bagging a little bit more forces or some more Z forces or whatever for bombing shots. But I do really love the way the forces feel, and I love the way this one looks and flies, so I'm keeping both of these in the bag for now. And this last disc is also another disc Tony gave me because Tony stopped throwing forces, which was very good for me because he has a great collection of discs. This force is extremely flat top. It's one of the old forces before they started including the numbers, so it's an extremely good flying force. I probably will never take this out of the bag unless something horrible happens, which hopefully it doesn't, because this right now is great for forehands because it's flat top. It's great for backhands. It's just an all around. I absolutely love this force. I've been throwing it a lot more recently than I used to because I'm starting to get a little bit stronger, but not there yet. So yeah, right now, when I need a meat hook of a forehand, something that I can depend on in the wind, I'm going to these forces. But yeah, so right now that's what's in my bag. Like I said, I'm an amateur player and I'm constantly throwing new discs, so this could all change in a couple months depending on how much stronger I get. I've been doing a lot of work on my form. I'm still trying to change my form because it's not very good right now. I'm kind of amazed that I can even throw the disc 300. So that was my in the bag, and for the 2021 season, this will be like this will be the first season that I've played any tournaments in my disc golf career. I used to always play disc golf as like kind of a fun hobby and compete with my friends Tony and my brother Brandon. But as we kind of got through COVID, I don't know if it was COVID or if it was just the boom in disc golf, we realized, hey, we're not half bad. So we started playing a lot. We decided to start playing a lot of tournaments. We spent a lot of time in the off season playing very heavily, which we haven't done in the past. So this is the first season that I'm playing tournaments. I'm playing in the intermediate divisions right now. My goal is to win one tournament in the intermediate division. And if I can win one in the intermediate division, I'll move up to advanced. Or if I can't win a tournament by Ledgestone, I'm going to start playing advanced starting with Ledgestone. So I signed up for the Ledgestone Open this year. Maybe that was a really bad move, but it seems like a really cool tournament and definitely like a massive field to really test my skills. So I'm definitely gonna be putting in a lot of work. I've got 6 months until the Ledgestone event, or now it's March, so 5 months until the Ledgestone event. I'm gonna keep practicing my putting, keep trying to work on my form and push my distance up. Another goal of mine, considering or coming off that distance, is I want to be able to throw over 400 feet consistently. Obviously everyone wants to throw 500-600 feet, however much you want to throw. I feel like I want to have realistic goals and stepping stones as I go. Right now I can kind of top 350 to 400. I've thrown over 400 a handful of times, very little amount of times, but I want to be able to throw over it consistently, and I feel like a lot of that has to come down to my form. I have a really bad tendency to short arm everything and throw everything from up here, so I'm dipping. I'm losing a ton of power on that dip, but I want to fix that, and I want to throw over 400 consistently. That's my goal for the year. I think it'll really help my game, and I want to putt from circle 1 at 80% or higher through all the tournaments, which right now I'm not putting at 80%. I can get anywhere from, I think yesterday's round was like 67%, and then a round before that was like 86%. It's a very bad head game for me. So I really want to figure that out and put at 80%, and I want to throw over 400 feet by the end of this year consistently is where I want to be at. I feel like if I can get to that point before Ledgestone, I'll have a very good chance at Ledgestone. I don't know if I'll win. I don't think I'll win, but I want to place in, like, I think the field was 300, so I'd like to be in the top 100 realistically. An overachieving goal that would just make me happier than anything is to place in the top 20. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's my big whiteboard goal. I don't know if anyone knows what a whiteboard goal is, but it's like, you know, the athletes of the olden days would talk about it. You'd put it up on a whiteboard, so every day when you wake up in the morning or whatever, you'd see it right there, and you'd be like, oh, that's the goal that I'm going to go for. So top 20 at Ledgestone is my whiteboard goal. That's like the big goal for the season. The other two, throw over 400 consistently and putt at 80%, are goals that I definitely think I can reach pretty realistically. So once I can start doing those will probably get replaced pretty quickly. And then after Ledgestone, we have the St. Louis Open, which is another A tier, and I decided to play advanced in that as well. Like I said, hit Ledgestone, move to advanced, see where I'm at. Next year, decide if I want to keep playing advanced or move up. I don't really know. My game right now is nowhere near where it needs to be, but I feel like if I spend all year playing in tournaments, playing against some really good disc golfers, and really upping my game, I feel like it could get to a really good place. So that's kind of where I'm at for my amateur 2021 season. I have some more footage coming out. I'm going to Baton Rouge next weekend, so next week I should be able to get a video out next week with some course footage I'm doing with the lads again, Zoran and Tony, this weekend. And then in Baton Rouge, I'm hoping to get a bunch of filming done with my little brother Brandon at some just amazing courses over in Baton Rouge. We absolutely love playing them, so I'm extremely excited to get those on camera for you guys. And then we'll go from there. This is a little bit different of a video, so let me know if you guys liked it. If you have any questions about the discs I throw, if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. I try to answer you guys' comments and show you guys some love down there. It really means a lot to me when you comment on my videos. But if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe the video. It lets me know that you guys are enjoying the content, and lets me keep grinding and putting this stuff out there. And I'll see you next time.